As I think back over the last 10 years, there's a lot of great memories. The one that always jumps out at me because A, it's funny, and B, I think it really embodies what we were trying to do from our earliest days was in our very first center in Norwood, I left to get lunch one day. And when I came back to the office, like everyone was kind of panicked, there was a big buzz. I see Dr. Ryan and he says, hey, I gotta go to the hospital. There's a patient really sick. I need to make sure they get admitted, like I'm gonna go. So obviously that was unique to us, somebody coming to us who needed that much help. And then at the same time, the person who worked the front desk at the time and one of our MAs, Joy, were like, don't go in your office. And I thought, okay, like what's going on here? So walking around the site, talking to everyone, make the mistake of not listening and walking into my office to find that there is a dog in my office. And as I walked back out and tried to figure out what the hell was going on, come to find out Ray, who was also one of the founders of BrightView and a huge dog lover, this patient was so sick that they needed to be hospitalized. Sean actually went to the hospital, they admitted them on the spot, they were in the hospital for a few days, but the patient was unwilling to do anything until it knew that its dog was gonna be taken care of. Didn't have anywhere to take the dog, so in that day, I had a dog in my office, Ray was at a dog shelter trying to find a spot for the dog, and Sean took the patient to the hospital. That patient ultimately came back with us and continued their treatment once they were well enough. But I would just think like in my earliest days, that was my moment of like, what am I doing? Standing in office in Norwood, Sean's at the hospital, and I have not the nicest dog in the world walking around me. As I think back at what's changed the most over BrightView, I think it's really around what we've been able to adapt and add for our patients. So for those who haven't been around for a really long time, when we started, there was a really brief baseline set of services. So we had no nursing services, no case management. Therapy was really group oriented. Our behavioral health team was really small, and really patients who came to us, their only option was to get a prescription and head over to the pharmacy. In the earliest days, for those who don't know, patients would actually come in on their first day and we would prescribe to the local pharmacy, and patients most of the time would actually walk over to the pharmacy, pick up their meds and walk back to us. So when I think about what's changed, our ability to add all the services that patients need from day one under the same roof was just a really big dream of ours, to be able to have someone walk in, get them started, get them medicated, get them all the services that they've needed. And so, that's probably the biggest change over the past 10 years is just the way the team's adapted, taken on all the challenges of adding everything under one roof so we can take care of everything for the patient. In 10 years, I think a lot of what we founded the company on stay true to us today, and that's a patient-first mentality. Everyone who comes through our doors is in need of something, and from the first day until today, our goal is to do everything we can to meet them where they are in their treatment journey, as well as making sure we're going above and beyond to take care of that patient. I think taking care of each other, BrightView is not the easiest place to work sometimes. Our patients throw us a lot of curveballs, and so I think making sure we have each other's backs and taking care of each other inside of the sites every day continues to be really important. I think the most inspiring things are still true from the first day today, which is we really change people's lives. So I've spent my entire professional career in healthcare, working across a variety of settings, and when I think about the changes we can make, I think one of the most profound things that happens is, we take a picture of the patient when they start to put in the system. And I can't tell you how many times patients will see that picture 30, 60, 90 days later and not even recognize themselves. And the changes that we can do, even with the brief amount of time we have with them in an outpatient setting, and really put people's lives back on a trajectory, it's super inspiring to me. I like to take my kids to a lot of the community events and, get a chance to see a lot of patients will come up to the booth. And so when they tell their story and my kids get to hear what dad does every day around hey, you helped me get my kids back. Hey, you helped me get a job. Hey, I was really afraid that I wasn't gonna make it. And obviously, we've heard a ton of those patient stories, but to be able to literally save people's lives on one end of the spectrum, and sometimes I think what's lost when we talk about saving lives is we're actually changing a lot of lives. We're taking people not just from, oh my gosh, are we gonna be able to keep you alive and safe, but can you be on a successful trajectory to meet your goals? Can you, again, reunite with your family, get a job, and feel really good about yourself? I think the biggest challenge I foresee for BrightView as we move forward is just making sure that we retain the ability to be adaptive. As I think about everything that's changing in the marketplace, from patient expectations to regulations to evidence, the larger we get, the harder it is to stay that way. But I think maintaining our origin of being a really nimble company, again, what BrightView looked like on the very first day we started and now look nothing alike. And all of those changes came from a place of making sure we could be responsive to what the patients need, meeting them where they are, and taking advantage of things like evidence improvements, medication options, as well as technology. When we started BrightView 10 years ago, I never could have imagined what we built, the amount of patients we've impacted, the amount of teammates we have. And so when I think to the future, what's most exciting for me and what I'd ask all of you to do is just continue to take care of each other and the patients. That's why we are where we are. When I think about what our goals were in the beginning, they were really simple. Could we prove that you could come in an outpatient setting and take really good care of people on one hand and build a company that can take care of its people as well? And so I will continue to ask you all to work really hard on that every day alongside me. I'm super excited for what that means. I think there's a lot of great things coming our way, especially for how we can care for our patients.